And the overarching theme here, and you're probably realizing it, is that for me, it was more frustration than it was fun. And that's a problem because GoPros are supposed to be fun. And it wasn't fun. The GoPro Hero 12 is something that I was a bit critical of in my initial impressions video. And I went out just based on how critical I was of this particular launch. I went out and purchased it myself, which is right here in the media mod. And I can now conclusively say that this is hands down the worst GoPro release in recent memory. This is such a disappointment, and I'm going to tell you about why that is, at least for my use case. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about the media mod itself. So the media mod now has the ability to, with the GoPro Hero 12, to record both the front microphone and the rear microphone at the same time. That is something that easily could have been added to the Hero 11, but they have decided not to update the Hero 11, so it seems like a cash grab with the 12 to enable that feature just for that software. And let me tell you, that feature, I use my media mod almost all the time, and having that feature is huge. I can't tell you how convenient it is to have both microphones powered on at the same time and collecting audio, because there's sometimes where I'm like this and there's other times where I'm like this, and I never remember to switch the microphones. And that's why I tend to record externally so that I don't miss anything, because I know that I'm, when I'm fumbling with this, that it's like a huge issue. It's like it doesn't work well. This is with both the front and the back microphone. There's a helicopter flying overhead. Maybe you hear that, maybe you don't. You have some geese in the background. Maybe you hear that, maybe you don't. I have no idea. All right, and now this is what it sounds like from behind the GoPro Hero 12 with the media mod. I have both the rear microphone enabled and the front microphone enabled. This is what it sounds like. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. And that concludes our test of the media mod. So anyways, that's number one. Number two, and this is probably an edge use case, and this has to do with time code. Now, I know they talked about in the Hero 12 in the launch video, you can see that they've got like 4 different cameras going and it's all on time code. Let me tell you, it may work with multiple Hero 12s. I keep grabbing the 11 here, but it may work with multiple Hero 12s, but unfortunately, I'm not going to go out and buy like 4 Hero 12s. I've got a bunch of other GoPros. I've got the 11, I've got the 9 over here. I've got like a bunch of different GoPros. So I don't want to go out and buy a bunch of Hero 12s just to get that time code feature. So I would imagine eventually you get to the point where maybe they update the software in this so it can actually read that time code. But more importantly, if you're not going to use that time code, which I was not because it doesn't sync up with my other GoPros, if you're not going to use that, you have to download the GoPro Labs software and install that onto the GoPro Hero 12. Now, kudos to GoPro for actually having that ready to go so that when people did get their GoPro Hero 12s, they were able to download that and install it very easily on the Hero 12. So on the Hero 12, with that GoPro Lab software installed, the way it should work is when I use Tentacle Sync for all of my time code across all of my cameras. When I scan that QR code within the Time Bar app, it automatically adjusts the setting in these GoPros. And what I found is that when I would scan that barcode, or the QR code with the Hero 12, it would give me a green check mark on the back, and it would say, yep, we've gone ahead and changed the settings, time code updated, and I'd run whatever I was doing, and then I'd bring it into my DaVinci Resolve afterwards, and it was off by not just a little bit, but by like a lot of bit. So I actually did some math, and that was hard. But anyways, I did some math, and it came out the frame difference. I took a shot of the Time Bar app, and then I also compared that at that point in time what the actual time code written to the metadata was for the GoPro Hero 12, and it was off by a total of 1,336 frames. Now, if you do some quick math at 30 frames a second, that's over 44 seconds difference between the time code in a GoPro Hero 12 and what my Time Bar app was in. And this was after syncing. So this was saying like, okay, yep, got the time code, no problem. Yet here we are off by 44 seconds. So I'm sure it's a software glitch or a bug or something like that, but it is extremely frustrating to have a Hero 11, which I have, and I put this thing, scan the QR code, and boom, that's the 9 actually. The 11, I scan the QR code and it updates the time code, no problem whatsoever. It's usually off by like maybe a frame or two, but I could deal with that. That's not a big deal. It's still going to sync up in post, no problem, and then I could just do some very fine adjustments if I needed to. But being off by 44.5 seconds, it's just not going to cut it. Third thing on this list. Okay, so the Hero 12, I was hoping, and maybe I missed it in the launch video, but I was hoping that there was going to be a better horizon lock mode, because right now on the Hero 11, you've got to go into linear plus horizon lock to get that 360 rotation, and the Hero 12 is the exact same thing. So all of the views, all of the what am I trying to say? All of the different formats that you can record in are essentially the same on the Hero 12 as they are on the Hero 11. So I was really hoping it was going to be a wider field of view that I could get with the horizon lock, but unfortunately you cannot. Which brings me to my next point, which is the Max Lens mod, right? So I went out and I bought the Max Lens mod 2.0, and it's a good lens mod. I mean, it's nice. It's quite a bit wider than what you can get with a 1.0. But here's the thing, and this is the frustrating part, is that it's $99 extra, and it should work. I mean, it fits the same mount as the 11, so you should just be able to pop it onto an 11 and get the same features in this as you can get in this. So again, to use the Max Lens Mod 2.0, you have to go out and spend another $400 on a camera. That's nuts. I'm a subscriber, so I get this for $300, but even $300, just be able to use that Max Lens Mod is just not okay in my book. So very frustrating that you can't use that 2.0. Maybe they might update the firmware so you can use it on this GoPro Hero 11, but if they do that, then sales of the Hero 12 are just going to plummet, because really that's the only reason to upgrade to the Hero 12 is that Max Lens Mod, because it does give you quite a wide field of view. Let's talk about that for a second. I find that Max Lens Mod 2.0 is actually too wide. It's just too wide. What I much prefer is the field of view from the Max Lens Mod 1.0, which I have right here, right? So this is a great field of view. It's got horizon lock. All they needed to do was give us 4K or, an 8x7 format instead of a 16:9 with this Max Lens Mod 1.0, and people would be fine with it. I mean, this was perfectly wide enough, because with this Max Lens Mod 2.0, the field of view is just so warped. It's terrible. It really is. So if you're doing anything that involves maybe sports like skiing or mountain biking or something like that, maybe it's cool, but if you're doing any type of vlogging, it's terrible. It just distorts like crazy. So unless you are perfectly centered in that frame, it's not going to look good at all. So I would definitely not recommend the Max Lens Mod 2.0 for vlogging. But for action sports, which clearly this is what it's designed for, it is a great feature. But for my use case, not helpful. I'm past that point where I'm doing crazy adventure sports. I do still ski, and I enjoy getting out there. We went whitewater rafting a couple months ago, during the summertime. But I'm not doing. In fact, I did use my GoPro for that. Maybe I'll put a couple clips in here of that. But I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not barreling down mountains on mountain bikes and hang gliding or doing any of that crazy stuff that you can break bones very easily. Again, past that point in my life. All right, let's keep moving here. The other features that they tout about is the HDR mode, which is better marginally. I mean, I think it's nice a little bit, but not crazy nice. So I don't know about that. And log footage, I tried it out just very briefly, and I was wildly unimpressed. I'm used to shooting on Sony cameras, which I have right here on my studio. I've got 3 different Sony cameras, and the S-Log 3 is just phenomenal. I mean, it's like 14 stops of dynamic range. I have no idea how many stops of dynamic range you get with the log footage versus the standard or HDR. It might be half a stop, maybe 1 stop. I don't know, but I couldn't color grade it, so I have no idea what's going on there. Maybe they just need to tell us how to film in log format. So oftentimes you have to kind of overexpose by a stop, sometimes 2 stops, depending on what you're doing. But maybe that's the case here with the GoPro, but they haven't told us that. So I think most people are filming log footage in the standard balanced exposure, and that might not be the best way to film using that log format. All right. So final thoughts. Would I buy this Hero 12 or upgrade it from the Hero 11? Absolutely not. I think you'd be not crazy, but I mean, unless you really absolutely needed like some HDR footage, or you're planning on buying multiple GoPro Hero 12s and you're going to use the time code that GoPro provides. Honestly, any reason to upgrade, or unless you're going to be doing action sports where you really want a wider field of view and you absolutely need like the widest field of view. But I would say even for that case, I would get like a 360 camera that you can simply put in your backpack and then change the way that looks however you want in post. I don't think this is a great solution for folks who are doing action sports like that. And the overarching theme here, and you're probably realizing it, is that for me, it was more frustration than it was fun. And that's a problem because GoPros are supposed to be fun. And it wasn't fun. It was like, this isn't working. That doesn't look good. What am I really getting? It was not fun. Where's the Hero 11? I upgraded from the Hero 9 to the Hero 11, and I was like, oh my God, this is cool. I got the 8:7 ratio. I've got the Horizon lock, which was awesome. It was really a nice upgrade from that 9 to the 11, but the 11 to the 12, it's like, ugh. I actually found it to be working worse. I know that sounds bad, but that's kind of the reality of the situation, at least for my use case. Now, that being said, one thing I did order when I ordered this Hero 12 was this thing right here, which is the Volta. The little tripod thing. It's got the legs that come out here. This thing, where has this thing been all my life? This is awesome. It gets me like hours of battery, and I can use it with my GoPro Hero 11. The problem that I have with the 11 is that the battery drains just so quickly. But when you plug it into this Volta, it's great. And it's got Bluetooth enabled too. So I can just press the record button on this instead of on the camera. I can power it on and off through this. It really is a nice, well thought out grip. And again, it's, if you hold it off to the side, it gives you a wide enough field of view if you want to vlog with it. I know some people like to, keep it down here, and you can do that, but I don't know. I really like it. And it was $90, I think. And now it's on sale for like $77 on the website. So that's a little frustrating too. So I'm going to have to reach out to GoPro, see if they will refund me the difference now that it's on sale and I'm still within my 30-day return period. And lastly, I want to make sure that people completely understand that all of the features, and I mean all of the features, new features that are found in the Hero 12 could absolutely have been added to the Hero 11 via firmware or software, whatever you want to call it. There's something you could load something onto this and get you can get a Hero 12 into a Hero 11 body, but GoPro has decided not to do that. So it feels like, I know I said this earlier, but it feels a little bit like a cash grab where they're just locking certain features out of the GoPro Hero 11 so that they can entice people to buy more of these Hero 12s. But for me, it just doesn't sit well with me. I'm 100% going to be returning this. I'm not mad at GoPro. I think a lot of camera companies, and a lot of companies in general, are doing this more and more recently, which is a shame because, I hate to see, like, this is still perfectly capable. It's a good camera, good quality, good build quality. Like, it's meant to last. And to not support it is really tragic. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about these two cameras, and are you considering upgrading from the 11 to the 12, or are you just going to sit tight with your existing camera and maybe wait for the next one? Or are you switching brands altogether? Maybe the DJI Osmo Action 4, which is getting rave reviews across the board. So maybe that's something I should consider, but I'm very happy actually with these GoPro cameras. You may not think that I'm happy with them, but I actually am. I think they're really good cameras, but this Hero 12 is just a big disappointment through and through. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.